Hey guys, I welcome all the viewers in this video and my YouTube channel as well. So as you can see on the screen, I'm just going with the topic of Azure Learning, which is examination AZ100. So before going further for the configuration and troubleshooting on all, you should have the basic idea about it, then only it will be very easy. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm just sharing the basic concepts of Azure. So before this, I will tell you a couple of things before going further. So this is my second video, not second video. I have uploaded couple of some around 30-35 videos on different configurations. So once again, I tried to prepare a couple of videos on basic things. So in my previous video, I had uploaded one video. In that, I have explained about couple of things like what is the structure of cloud computing and how it works, what are the uses and what are the structure, services types, each and everything. This is just basic you can say structure of that. I have spoken about cloud services and in that IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, FaaS, and apart from that what is internet service provider, what is CSP, and couple of things basic cloud service. And in this video I'm just talking about that Microsoft Azure, what it is actually. In that I will be talking about lots of small but very important topic, and I hope this will be helpful for you guys. If you find it is helpful, please don't forget to subscribe my channel, comment on this video, share this video and like this video. And if you want all the previous uploaded videos, you can go to my channel, and there are lots of videos and in that you can find one playlist itself. So if you go, this is the playlist. I have uploaded 32 video in this. What this?
Let's suppose that you're writing a really important email to a
let me show you here. This is my this playlist. So it has some around 33 videos or 32 videos as of now, and you can have a look for different configuration, like how to install web server, virtual machines, deploy and connect virtual machines, compute, and lots of things I have uploaded, even I don't remember, like how to configure load balancer and virtual network, VNet to VNet. So if you subscribe, you will get all those things from there. So in this video I'm just talking about the basic things you need to remember, and at the time of interview also it is very important. So first of all, you should be knowing what is Microsoft Azure. So guys, it is a service basically which is given by Microsoft. Now there are lots of cloud service provider available. So it is done, or it is developed by Microsoft. So we are telling it is Microsoft Azure. So it is like Microsoft Azure is a cloud computing service, the first thing, okay, and it is created by Microsoft. That is why we are calling it Microsoft Azure. And for why it is developed, so for example, it is developed for building, testing, deploying and managing application and services through Microsoft managed data centers. So all the data center will be managed by Microsoft. And apart from this, the fourth characteristics, it will provide SaaS, PaaS and infrastructure as a service, okay. Apart from this, it also support many different operating system languages, or it is third-party softwares also. So these are the basic information about Microsoft Azure. And again, it is developed by Microsoft Corporation. It supports multiple operating system, Linux, Windows, and it was initial release was 1st of Feb 2010, and parent company is Microsoft Corporation. So this is a basic introduction about Microsoft Azure. Now, what are the products of Microsoft Azure basically? So there are lots of product available in this. If you subscribe the channel, or if you subscribe the subscription of Microsoft, then you will come to know. So I'm just telling for example here, These are the product: compute, networking, storage, web, mobile, containers, database, and analytics, AI, machine learning, internet things, or internet of things, integration, identity, security, DevOps, lots of things. It is just for example I have taken this much. So yes, I will be talking about these three only, because these are the core, these are the backbone for Microsoft Azure and any IT infrastructure. These are the backbone. So I will talk about compute first, then in next video I will be talking about networking and storage. If you can understand all these three, the rest of can be very easy for you. So this is what the basic product here. Now compute, networking, and storage. So I will be talking about all those things one by one. In this video I will complete about all the basic things about compute, then next video networking and storage. So guys, as soon as you subscribe the channel and if you select compute options, you will come to know this much options again. So compute is your primary, and these are the sub options like Linux virtual machine, Windows virtual machine, app services, container instance, batch, functions, fabric services, virtual machine skill set, or Azure Kubernetes service, and couple of things. So basically what we use, if you are using if you are comfortable with Linux, you can go for this. If you are comfortable with Windows, you can go for this. And there is one more very important, this one, this virtual machine skill set. So I will talk about this in the same video. What does it mean, okay, and how it is important. Apart from this, there will be couple of lots of things in compute. So these are the basic. Okay, so you should be very good with all the things. Now if you go to compute, you will get options. These are the options basically. So I told you about this one. Now in detail I will tell you one by one. So the very first one is virtual machine itself. This virtual machine, either it could be like Linux or Windows. So let me talk about the very first one. Very first option is known as virtual machine. So what is virtual machines? So virtual machines are as infrastructure as a service, allowing you to deploy and manage virtual machines inside a virtual network, or which is also known as VNet. So virtual machines, virtually they are available. You do not need to have physical server, physical computers, but you can deploy virtual machines inside virtual network, and that network will be a virtualized, that network itself will be a virtual network. So if you want to deploy an operating system like Windows Server, then you will have to create one virtual machine, then only you can deploy operating system. Okay, that is known as VM basically. And app services. So app services is a managed PaaS. So if you're talking about application services or app services, it will come under PaaS, which is a platform as a service, offering for hosting web apps, mobile apps, backends, or automated business processes. So these are the basic requirement, basic use of app services. For this kind of purpose, we can use app services from this compute. Next one, service fabric. So basically it is a service fabric is a Azure service fabric is a distributed file system basically, or a distributed system platform that makes it easy to package, deploy, and manage scalable and reliable microservice and containers. So this is the basic use of fabric service or service fabric. You can create a small packages, and later on you can deploy it. Okay, now it is also useful, like developers and administrator can avoid having complex infrastructure problem and focus on implementing mission critical demanding workloads that are scalable, reliable, and manageable. So you do not need to worry, like the administrator do not need to worry about complex infrastructure, or they do not need to worry about how they will deploy that kind of infrastructure. They can use this service fabric for this kind of purposes. Next one, Azure Container Service. So like it lets you create, configure, and manage cluster of virtual machines that are pre-configured to run customized applications. Okay, So you can create pre-configured virtual machines. With the help of Azure Container Services. Now Azure functions like is a managed fast service once again, and Azure Batch is a managed service for running large scale parallel and high performance computing applications. Cloud services is a managed service for running cloud application. It uses a PaaS hosting model basically. So these are the options. Even you can have a look when you get a subscription or your trial subscription. You can read and you can access all those things. For 1 month you can have a subscription, trial subscription. I have already spoken about how to create account and how to access it and how to practice. Now, so these are the basic information about what are the options available. Now I will tell you in detail what is virtual machine, because that is the main core, main focus of this video or this entire, whatever you are learning in Azure. So virtual machine, what is Windows virtual machine here? So guys, Azure Windows Virtual Machine provides on-demand, high-scale, secure, virtualized infrastructure using Windows servers. So if you want to deploy any operating system, any server, if you required, then you will have to use virtual machines. Okay. Now, on an Azure virtual machine gives you flexibility and virtualization without having to buy and maintain the physical hardware that runs it. So here you do not need to purchase hardware machines or servers for the installation of operating system. You can just select one virtual machine and select the operating system to install it. However, you still need to maintain the virtual machine by performing tasks such as configuring, patching, and installing the software that runs on it. So this will be under your control only. Next, Azure virtual machine can be used in various ways. Some examples like deployment and testing. Okay, if you have certain applications, you can have a testing before deployment with the help of virtual machines. Apart from that, application in the cloud, because demand for your application can fluctuate, it might make economic sense to run it on virtual machines in Azure, because Azure gives you a situation where you can pay as much as you use it. You do not need to pay for full time. That is one advantage. So if you have any application, you want to keep it on server, which should be like available 24/7, or if you want, like, it should run for 2 hours only, and the rest of hours it should not run. So you can do it by Azure. So you can take that kind of subscription and you can pay for that only. So extended data centers. So virtual machine in a virtualized network can easily be connected to your organization's network. So meaning is very simple. If you have traditional data center, you can connect your traditional data center with Azure easily. Okay, by using a couple of technologies like site-to-site VPN or express route VPN. Couple of things we have. Next thing, Azure Virtual Machine is one of the central feature of Azure's infrastructure as a service capabilities together with Azure Virtual Network. And Azure Virtual Machine support the deployment of Windows or Linux virtual machines. You can install either Linux or Windows operating system. Okay, you have total control over the configuration of virtual machines. So what you want, like what kind of processor you want, RAM you want, you can have that control. You are responsible for all server software installation. What kind of software you want to install, you can install on virtual machines, and maintain maintenance, and for operating system patching also you can do on all the virtual machines, whatever you install. Now a couple of things here in this slide. What do you need to think about before creating a virtual machine? So basic things: what name you want to give it, like and what is the purpose of it. where you want to locate it, okay, and the size of virtual machine, maximum number of virtual machine that can be created, and operating system, what operating system or which operating system you want, and configuration of the virtual machine after it is start, what will happen, what should be loaded, what should not be loaded, the related resource that the virtual machine needs. So these are the basic consideration you need to take before creating a virtual machine. Okay, as per your requirement you can create a virtual machine. Now if you want to create a virtual machine on Azure portal, then you will have to log in, and then you will have to create a resource. In that you can select like data center, create, and that you can subscribe my channel guys, and one video I have uploaded how to create in many ways. I have already explained, so here I'm not talking about much, but this is the basic how you need to create virtual machine. Now here we will talk about Azure Resource Manager overview. Okay, so what does it mean? So guys, very important. Okay, that is what I'm trying to share you the basic things about each and everything here. Azure Resource Manager is the deployment and management service for Azure. So basically whatever you deploy on Azure, it should come under Azure Manager Server, or it manages that one basically. Next thing, it provides a consistent management layer that enable you to create, update and delete resources in your Azure subscription. So just like computer management or like that, you can say it is a Azure Resource Manager. Now you can use it access control, auditing and triggering, tagging basically for secure and organize your resources after deployment. So if you subscribe channel and go through my videos, you will come to know what does it mean, how you can use resource manager. Okay, and there are a couple of terminology used in this Azure Resource Manager. So the very first one is resource. What do you mean by resources basically? So a manageable item that is available through Azure, that is known as resource. Whatever you create, like you are creating one one virtual machine, that is known as resource. Virtual machine, storage account, web apps, database, these are all comes as a resource. Next thing here, resource group. So what do you mean by resource group? So meaning is very simple. It is a collection of multiple resources in a container or kind of thing. So a container that holds related resource for an Azure solution. The resource group includes those resources that you want to manage as a group. So if you are using this much thing, so you can put all those things in one group, that is known as resource group. Now resource provider. So a service that supplies Azure resources. For example, a common resource provider is Microsoft Compute, which supplies the virtual machine resource. Okay, so who's providing you resources? So you can, as of now we are talking about Microsoft, so it is, you can consider it is a Microsoft resource. Okay, so these are the terminologies used in this. And resource manager template, declarative syntax. Now this is what I have spoken about resource manager. So there are two types of resource manager. One is basically deployment. Okay, we should not say resource manager. So you can deploy anything in two ways. One is you can use Azure Resource Manager or classic deployment. So you should be knowing what is the difference between Azure Resource Manager deployment. You can consider deployment method and classical deployment method. Classic. So guys, I'm talking about Azure Resource Manager here. You can deploy, manage and monitor all services for your solution as a group rather than handling these services individually. So this is the only difference between Azure Resource Manager deployment and classic deployment. There are lots of things, but this line is sufficient to understand what is the meaning of it here in resource group, Azure Resource Group. Azure Resource Manager, this one, each and everything you do not need to manage or create, or you do not need to manage each and everything individually. In Azure Resource Manager, but in Classic you will have to monitor each and everything individually, one by one. That is the main difference between this. You should be knowing when you create any virtual machine, it will ask which one you want to use, either Azure Resource Manager or Classic Deployment Mode at the time of deployment of virtual machine. So you should select Azure Resource Manager, and why you should not select Classic Deployment I will tell you in the incoming slides. And now you can easily access control to all resources in your resource group, and those policies are automatically applied when you new resource are added to your resource group. So each and everything is happening in one group. You do not need to have to manage each and everything separately. That is the advantage of Azure Resource Manager. So this is example here. Okay, this is one. From here to here it is one group only, inside one box only, each and everything. Okay, this is a simple example. For example, you are creating one storage account, you are creating one virtual machine, you are creating one what is that, load balancer. So it will be inside only one group. But if you talk about all the resource exist within a resource group only. Okay, but in case of Classic, so this was the example of Azure Resource Manager. Now this is example of Classic deployment. So as you can see here, this is one separate you can say group or entity here. This is also a separate entity here. Okay, this is also a separate entity here. Each and everything is separate. So this is a difference between this thing, Azure Resource Manager and Classic deployment. A required cloud service that act as a container for hosting virtual machine. So this will be known as what is that virtual machine, basically this one. Container. Okay, I'm not reading this much here, I'm just going next here. So guys, the next thing here to understand the deployment model, this Classic was developed at the time of Azure took birth, basically. So that is old. There were lots of challenges in that, as I told you, like each and everything should be managed or monitored individually. So to avoid that, this resource manager, Azure Resource Manager, was developed. So this one is advanced. A resource manager group or a resource group is a container for resources that share a common life cycle, and the resource manager deployment model provides several benefits. So if we talk about the first one, Azure Resource Manager, it has lots of benefits. You can deploy, manage and monitor all the services for your solution as a group rather than handling these services individually. Okay, why we should use ARM rather than Classic mode? Now create virtual machine here. So this much I hope informative for you guys, and it will give you the clear scenario of what is ARM, Azure Resource Manager group, basically why we should use Resource Manager group and why we should not use Classic mode. And now if you want to create one virtual machine, then you will get couple of things like this. Create a virtual machine, you will have to give basic information, then disk, the networking management, and the rest of things you can see in couple of slides. So first of all, what kind of subscription you have, then resource group you will have to create. How to create, you can go through my channel and have a look at that video. Now virtual machine, you need to give reason where you want to install it, availability option. What is this, I will tell you in the coming slides. And what kind of operating system or which operating system you want, whether server or Linux, and this is known as instance or size, CPU, memory, how much you want to install. Then you will have to assign one, username, password. Okay, so these are the basic information you need to put at the time of virtual machine creation. And then later on there will be couple of things here you need to put, like network, sub network, Okay, when it comes to your networking, this one. Okay, so I have not taken that much slides here. So apart from that, guys, very important here, public inbound port you have to mention RDP. See, whatever you configuration you are doing on web or internet, but once it is done, you need to connect those machines through public IP to your system using remote desktop control. So in that condition, this RDP port should be enabled on networking, firewall, and STT port. So 3389 is port of RDP, and for this STTP 443 STTP is, and 80 should be allowed for incoming and outgoing in your networking security, basically incoming traffic. If you want to know how to do it, if you don't allow this port, then you won't be able to connect your virtual machine to your system, and you will get error. How to troubleshoot it, how to troubleshoot it, I have already explained in one separate video. And now here you will get very important virtual machine size, VM size. So there are lots of virtual machine size available here, types as you can see here, and common size and description. So every virtual machine, every type has separate characteristic, separate role or advantages, disadvantages, and efficiencies, you can say, purpose, you can say, basically. So first of all, if you see here, and they have certain codes to remember, like BD or FES. These are the code, you can say. Like general purpose, if you are using general purpose, you can go for this common size, like DS V3, DV3, DS V2, and description about why you should use for general purpose. So it gives balanced CPU to memory, ideal for development and testing, and small to medium application, and data solution. So these are the basic use. For this kind of use, you can go for general, this DV2 or AV2 kind of virtual machines, operating system, not operating system, processor, basically. Now compute optimized, so FSV2, FS, there will be complete information available when you create this virtual machine. It will give you complete detail, pricing, performance, each and everything you can see on portal. And if you talk about compute optimized, it is like high CPU to memory, good for medium traffic application, network appliance, and batch process. So guys, you can see as per your requirement, you can select any this processor. Okay, as per the requirement, you can go through all the available options on Azure portal. So I'm not talking much about here. Now virtual machine power state, very important, you should know about it, because it can helpful for you guys to save money. How? So there are a couple of state of virtual machine. Okay, the very first one is starting indicates that virtual machine is being starting, you just, it is power, it is getting power on. Next one is running, it is functioning properly. Okay, now stopping indicate that the virtual machine is being stopped. Very clear by name itself, it is telling what is the use of it, or what is the meaning of this. Next one is stopped, indicate that the virtual machine is stopped, and virtual machine in stopped state still incur compute charges. See, if this virtual machine is stopped, then also you will have to pay. One thing you should remember, disallocating indicate that virtual machine is being disallocated. So you need to be very careful about these things. And disallocated indicate that the virtual machine is removed from the hypervisor but is still available in the control panel. And virtual machine in the deallocated state do not incur compute charges. Once it is delocated, you do not need to pay, they will not charge you. But if it is in stopped mode, then it will be charged. So you should be careful about these two state of virtual machine. And indicate that the power state of virtual machine is unknown, this hyphen. Okay, you don't know what is the state of virtual machine. So in this condition, how you can avoid this payment or how you can save your money. Now, manage Azure disk. What does it mean? So guys, Azure virtual machine use disk to store virtual machine operating system, applications and data. When creating virtual machine, it is important to choose disk size and configuration appropriate to expected workload. So you need to select proper CPU and RAM as per the or disk as well as per the requirement of your business. Now, when an Azure virtual machine is created, two disks are automatically attached to the virtual machine. So the meaning is very simple. When you are creating your virtual machine, so automatically two disks will be attached to your virtual machine. What does it mean? So the very first one is operating system, because if you create a virtual machine, you will have to install one operating system. So it will be a operating disk. Okay, the next one will be your temporary disk. So these two disks are temporary disk, not temporary. By default, it will be created. Okay. Now operating system disk, what it will contain. So operating system disk can be sized up to 4 terabyte and host the virtual machine operating systems, and like it will create C drive by default, and the OS disk should not host application or data. It should not have any like application or data. Okay. Now apart from this, temporary disk. So temporary disk use a solid state drive that is located on the Azure host as VM, and highly performant and may be used for operations such as temporary data processing. However, if the virtual machine is moved to new host, any data stored on temporary disk will be removed. Okay, and the size of temporary disk is determined by the virtual machine size, and it will be donated or captured by D drive. Basically, it will assign D, or it will be named by D drive. So these are the two automatically created default disk. One is operating system disk and second one is temporary disk. Now next thing, Azure data disk. So now it is going to be three disk type. One is operating system, temporary disk, and now Azure data disk. So guys, additional data disk can be added. We can add this additionally if you required like more storage to your server or your system virtual machine for storing data. And data disk should be used in any situation where durable and responsive data storage is needed. Each data disk can have like 4 terabyte space, and the size of virtual machine determines how many data disks can be attached to a virtual machine. For each virtual machine CPU, 4 data disks can be attached, so we can attach 4 data disks. Okay. Now virtual machine types. So we have spoken about 3 disks here. One is data disk, temporary disk, and system operating disk. Now I will tell you about virtual machine disk type. So guys, there are a couple of types here. The very first one is premium disk. Okay, this premium disk, which is also known as SSD based. Okay, backed by SSD based. It is a high performance, low latency disk, and perfect for virtual machines running production workload. And premium storage support DS series, DS version 2, GS series, and NS series virtual machines. This premium, and premium disks come in 5 types like P1, P10, P20, P30, P40, 50. The size of the disk determines the disk type, and when selecting a disk size, the value is rounded up to next type. For example, if the size is below 128 GB, the disk type is P1, or between 120 GB and 512 GB, the disk size is P2. So this is how you need to have the complete information or detail about selection of disk type. So this is premium. Now the second one uh, is standard disk. Okay, in this it is backed by HDDs, hard disk drive basically, and this is SDD. So in this, all deliver cost effective storage while still being performant. So it is kind of, no, you have certain regular work, so you can use this HDD, and it is a standard disk, are ideal for cost effective development and testing workload. But if you need high performance, then you should go for SSD, and this is HDD, standard disk, premium disk. So you should be able to decide which one you want, because again it will be a cost concern. If you use SSD, you will have to pay more. If you use hard disk, standard disk, it will be less payable. Next one, guys, disk. So basically, image, VSD, that is a template for the creation of new virtual machine. Okay, and disk, possibly bootable virtual hard disk that can be used as a mountable disk for a virtual machine. There are two types of disk. One is OS disk and second one is data disk. So this is one virtual machine you have, local drive. Okay, now one is operating system and one is data disk, that is known as complete virtual machine. Now, highly available virtual machine. What does it mean? Meaning is very simple. See, for example, you have created one server, and once it is crashed, your production will be down. But you don't want that. In that condition, you can have this configuration which is known as high available virtual machines. So, guys, it has a separate name. I will tell you. So you should understand this first. Availability set ensures that the virtual machine you deploy on Azure are distributed across multiple isolated hardware node in a cluster. So the meaning is very simple here. You are deploying one virtual machine. Okay, this is, you deployed one machine, so it should be stored on multiple data centers. That is the main concept here and here. If this is down, still your virtual machine should be accessible from other location. That is known as high availability, and it is known as cluster, basically clustering this side. And doing this ensures that if the hardware or software fails within Azure happens, only a subnet of your virtual machine are impacted, and overall solution remains available. And basically, like an availability set is a logical grouping capability that you can use in Azure to ensure that the virtual machine resources you place within it are isolated from each other when they are deployed within a virtual data center. So the meaning is very simple, just now what I told you here. And Azure resources that the virtual machine you place within a availability set run across multiple physical servers, compute rack, storage unit, and network switches. Okay. Now, create virtual machine inside an availability set. So you have to be very careful at the time of creation of virtual machine. So let me tell you what does it mean. So meaning is very simple, guys. When you are creating a virtual machine, at that time only you have to put that virtual machine in availability set. Later on, you cannot add that virtual machine to your availability set. That is the meaning of this concept here. So virtual machine must be created within the availability set to make sure that they are currently distributed across the hardware. You cannot add the existing virtual machine to availability set after it is created. And this is very important for interview point of view, they will ask whether we can add or not. So you cannot add once virtual machine is created to availability set. So you have to add an availability set at the time of virtual machine creation. So again and again I'm telling guys, if you want to understand how to create availability set, how to add and all, you can subscribe my channel. You can go one by one all the videos. This is my URL here, and if you want you can subscribe by my name itself, and you can have a look how to create. I have already uploaded couple of videos. And guys, here uh, virtual machine scale set, what do you mean by availability set is different and skill set is different? So meaning, I am not reading multiple things here, I'm just taking these two words and I will tell you what does it mean. So skill set is means what, you are scaling your requirement. Okay, you are using 10 virtual machines, suddenly it came, you need to make it 50. So that is the concept of virtual machine skill set. So what is the meaning of this? You can have pre-configured virtual machines already, and if required, automatically it should increase the virtual machines in your configuration. Basically that is the main concept. So you can configure it, how many machines should be increased and how automatically it should be decreased. That is the concept of scaling the virtual machine set here. So guys, a virtual machine skill set let you create and manage a group of identical load balanced and auto scaling virtual machines. That is what I'm telling. Automatically pre-configured machine you can create and they can deploy automatically. The number of virtual machine instance can automatically increase or decrease in response to demand or defined schedule. So you can create one schedule, you can define how many machines should be increased, how many machines should be decreased. I have uploaded one video on this topic also, and availability set also. Okay, so here I'm just talking about the theoretical part. Now skill set provide high availability to your application and allowed to centrally manage, configure and update a large number of virtual machines. For example, you need to deploy 100 machines. So how will you do it one by one? No, you can use this availability, I mean this skill set, automatically that 100 machine will be deployed, but you will have to configure couple of things here, like this scheduling and all, in which condition it will be increased, in which condition it will be decreased. With virtual machine skill set you can build large scale services for areas such as compute, big data center and container workload. So these are the situations where you can use skill set. Now guys, the very last thing here in this compute, which is known as billing. Okay, so Azure virtual machine is priced on per hour basis, but it is billed on per minute basis. Okay, first thing you should be able to understand this. For example, you are only changed, oh, this is one charged, guys, this is not changed. Okay, spelling mistake. For example, you are only charged for 23 minutes of usage if the virtual machine is deployed for 23 minutes only. That is the concept of pay as you go, or pay as you use. Okay, you do not need to pay for 1 hour, you will have to pay for 23 minutes only. The cost for a virtual machine includes the charges for Windows operating system. Linux operating system instance are slightly cheaper than, because there is no operating system license charges. Okay, so Windows will be little bit costly as compared to Linux operating system here in this billing. So this is the basic information I'm sharing here, guys, about this billing. And this video is concluded here, guys. If you find this video helpful, please don't forget to subscribe my channel, comment on this video, like this video, share this video, and I hope it will be informative. This is the URL of my YouTube channel, and by name itself you can find. And I told you there are lots of videos available here, and if you go through one by one, definitely you will understand like how to create VPN, point to point, site to site, express route, troubleshooting, point to point, and a couple of things detection, like what is Azure Active Directory application proxy, how does it work, and Azure Active Directory domain service. Lots of things you can find from here, and don't forget to click this notification bell so you will get all the updated videos. So guys, till then, bye bye, have a nice time.